Doesn't all pop music sound the same these days?
All the greatest hits from the past 40 years just use 4 chords. Same 4 chords for every song. It's dead simple to write a pop hit. 1, 2, 3, 4 chords.
Take those 4 chords, repeat them, and pump out every pop song ever. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now, I can't say that I'm the most knowledgeable when it comes to jazz, but I do know that the original reason for the popularity is that it broke out of the norms and was something totally different and unexpected, as opposed to the more formulaic offerings of classical music or some of the other genres. Well, there's some elements about jazz that are very relevant to running a business, to selling a business, and perhaps even life in general. So let me take a step back though and talk to you about a mentor of mine, a guy named Jim Kelso that worked at Intel when I was there. Jim was a great mentor, not only because of all the knowledge he had, but he was just built really to be a mentor. The way that he was able to impart knowledge to people around him was really just extraordinary. And he told me a story that has stuck with me to this day. What he said is that when you think about operations, when you think about supply chains, when you really think about businesses in general, you want to create a system that is more like a jazz band as opposed to a symphony. In a symphony, you have numerous people that have a very well-defined part that they have to play. Additionally, all of those parts have to come together with perfect timing and precision in order to create a finished product that everyone wants to hear or that everyone would appreciate. If one person plays a wrong note, it can kill the entire performance. I understand why people like that type of music because the need for precision, and it just makes it really impressive for all those people to come together and really deliver a perfect performance. A lot different than jazz. Jazz, you might start with an opening chord or an opening riff, and from there, you can have the same 5 people start the exact same way 5 different days, and the overall output, the song, how it feels, could be totally different. Unfortunately, in business and live, whatever you want to relate it to, it's much more like a jazz band than it is a symphony. Even though folks would like to have a well-defined map with all the turns pointed out and identified in advance, that's not what it's like whenever you're running a business. Especially it's not what it's like whenever you're trying to sell a business. I've talked to a lot of business owners, and their desire is for a smooth process that goes from A to B to C to D, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way to close. Unfortunately, it's not realistic at all. What I have seen, what I've observed, is that there is a general idea in mind as to the destination. However, even that destination, the idea of what that should be changes over time. I've talked a lot in the clouds so far, so let me give you specific examples. Perhaps a business owner says, I'm only gonna be happy if I get $10 million and I can walk away from the business day 1 post-close. That's my destination, and I am embarking on this journey today, and I want the process to be completed in 3 to 6 months, for example. Well, perhaps during the process, this seller finds a buyer that has different ideas or different plans. And you know what? Maybe he only gets 7 million today, but he has a path to 15 million. Or maybe he's able to get more than the 10 million he initially wanted, but he needs to stay on for a year or 2 post-close. And because of the vision that the buyer has put forth, the seller is all on board with that. Now, these are made up examples here just to show you that even though you might have an idea of what you want your destination to be, even that could change. So if your destination can change, just think about all the twists and turns that will change leading up to the arrival at that new destination, or all the twists and turns along your journey. As humans, I think more of us are going to gravitate or desire a situation where it's all mapped out for us. Starting a business is difficult, running a business is even harder, and having that business sustain itself over years to the point where it's actually a business that can be sold is even harder. And if there were maps and directions that listed all the steps that you need to take to get from starting a business to successfully selling it, then everybody would be doing it and everybody would have their own business and whatnot. And to the business owners out there, I know you realize that it's not like that at all. You wake up on a Monday morning thinking the week's gonna be great, and 5 minutes after you get into the office, the first bomb is dropped and you've got to solve something. Or occasionally you get some great news and that totally changes your week as well. I think the jazz band analogy is really appropriate as we think about running a business, as we think about selling a business, because you're given certain inputs, you're given certain stimuli, and your success, the livelihood of the company, really depends not as much on what that stimuli or input is, but really how you respond to it. And I tell you what, if you look at my career and why I think I've been successful, improvisation, persistence, refusing to back down whenever I face failure, those are all the reasons why I'm here. Not to say that I think I'm super successful, because I don't. However, I can say that I have been persistent in the face of failure and have had to improvise, or in the VC world, they like to use the term pivot quite a bit. And I think that almost all the business owners out there, that message would resonate, at least to some degree. So what do you think? Is your career, is your business, has it been predicated on being willing or being able to improvise quickly, to make adaptations whenever they are needed? Or do you feel like that hasn't been the case? And if you feel like it hasn't been the case, I would love for you to leave a comment or pick up the phone and call me directly, because I just haven't seen it too often whenever we have a business owner that is just smooth sailing from the time they start the business to the time they sell. This concept of a jazz band and how that's similar to running a business and selling a business is just one topic that is in a course I created on how to prepare your business and yourself for a sale. If you'd like to learn more, there are links in the comment section, or reach out to me directly. But stay tuned, because we will be dropping additional content from that course, albeit in a very limited format. So stay tuned.